darkness of my mind, my mother lives on. But so does the monster that took her away from me.
Mommy!
And I will find him.
Sarah Lee Harder was amazing as an actress for playing a character on a quest for revenge and or closure. I really enjoyed the game of cat and mouse in the house, and Lauren as a character, her willingness to hunt through her past in order to bury it, in order to find the answers. I really appreciated her bravery for being brave enough to face her past, even though she was obviously scared the whole time. And I also really liked the futuristic approach to one's therapy session.
The voiceover in the beginning was very powerful, and it introduces the story well. And the flashback is such a nice touch. I think it worked really well with the story. I loved watching such a determined character. From the very beginning, we're made aware that her determination is to seek revenge for her mom. The scene where the walls were closing in on her was absolutely terrifying to watch. And it really just had me on the edge of my seat wondering if she was going to be okay, and just watching her. The ending especially was very satisfying, and it was just mind-blowing. I really enjoyed this film.
And it's played out in such an interesting way, as a combat video game almost in certain scenes. I love the CGI monster with its wiry body and slimy mouth. The sound design is really, really passionate, especially when the monster attacks. It's quite frightening, but very effective. And I also think it's interesting how the settings, when she's a little girl, are quite normal. It shows a normal house. But when she goes back to the video game, it's dusty and run down and decrepit. Very well done.
Yeah, this one's really interesting. It's, the special effects are great. The sound design's great. Anytime that you're dealing with kind of sci-fi horror, there has to be really good sound design. And it takes a lot to kind of create sound effects for a monster, that doesn't exist in the real world. So it's interesting to see how they layered it, and visually it's very compelling too. The lighting's great. I feel like it's a very cohesive piece, and it's nice to see that people can, effectively tell these kind of more technically involved stories, but it's under 9 or under 10 minutes, and so yeah, I really dug it.
Very creative film. I really like how it plays on the distortions of the mind and the role that it plays within memories. We know that memories can be a very unreliable source of information, especially the more trauma that it involves, and especially the more time that goes by after the experience has happened. One thing that I really noticed and I really enjoyed throughout the scene was having the sound of the monster moving throughout the left and right speakers. I found that it really immersed me into the experience. When it first happened, I was like, whoa. It was definitely something I noticed, and it definitely was appreciated on my end. I thought everybody did such a great job in creating this beautiful world in this girl's mind. So, great job.
I wish this technique was possible now. It is great special effects. The performance and plot was outstanding. I really enjoyed this one. I would also watch a feature film of this story. The premise is quite plausible, and the scenario is eerie, realistic. How they approach trauma and overcoming it was just magnificent. I really liked it.
This was a really interesting concept. I felt like it lived kind of in the Black Mirror world, but very much in our world. I know of one type of therapy where they're integrating technology in. Each time you go back into a past memory or a trauma, they kind of zap the inside of one of your palms to activate a different side of your brain. And this takes that to the next level of getting to go back into your past and work out a trauma in a way that you have agency and reclaim that memory. I thought that was a really brilliant concept. We get the horror thriller, but we also get something a little bit more emotional, akin to a drama. And I think using a melding of both worlds made me care and made it come that full circle for that satisfying finish. It that connection to resiliency and the possibility of technology to help us psychologically heal was a very positive spin and a hopeful spin on the end of it, as most pieces integrating technology almost seem to leave you cold. This seemed to do the opposite for me.
Really exemplifies the great work that sci-fi can do when it looks at the human experience and explores it in this unique and fantastical way, but that at its core is really humanistic and reflective of the everyday experience that we live in reality. And that's not always as easy as some make it appear to be. Retrieval does it quite well, though, utilizing a therapeutic technique, which is through advanced technology, that allows the protagonist to go through her grief through kind of reliving her past or reviewing it in such a way that allows her to really come to terms with what happened and how she can best move forward in spite of it, in spite of the trauma. And it is, again, it's emotionally resonating because while it has all the great special effects, it is really impressive sound design, particularly. While it has all of the glitz and glamour and all of the armor, let's say, it is really, at its core, a great and impactful story that resonates. It is not just about the special effects. They all complement what is a great thematic core.